I have breaking news, March 2025. I can now reveal hidden messages from over 400 years ago. Edward de Vere hid what he called ciphers in his poems. It was November 2023 when I began finding these ciphers. De Vere developed these skills in his early poems, 1570s, and used them in his Shakespeare sonnets. Yes, de Vere was Shakespeare, and it is he who hid his identity from fans of his plays and poems. Literary scholars and historians have been hoodwinked, and only now is the evidence irrefutable. Learn about de Vere's ciphers. Here we have the first few lines of a poem called The Absent Lover. De Vere wrote this poem in 1573 or 74 when he was a young man of 23. He invites his reader to decipher his name. The work of Helen Heitzman Gordon brought this to my attention in November 2023. For that I am truly thankful. I began by finding the names I will show you and quickly grasped the idea. De Vere hides words in spread-out anagrams. Instead of following the rule the letters of a word can be rearranged, he is mainly using letters from anywhere in the line. For one or more letters, they can be in a neighbouring line. More rarely, letters can be several lines away, and one letter can be used many times. In Tudor times, writing in cipher was common. The writer would have a system for creating the cipher. If the decipherer knew the system, then the communication worked. Government censors were looking for suspicious messages and knew a lot about these methods. If they caught someone writing about the Queen or a religious group, then the punishment could be harsh. De Vere's system, with no proper rules, may have fooled the censors. Let's begin. Here we're looking for the spelling of Edward, and highlighted in blue you see E-D-W-A-R-D. Edward is easy to find except the W is in line 3 and I've shown a down arrow. Also in line 1 is de Vere. It is in line 1 and shares a D. Again, Edward is easy, but for the W in line 3, down arrow. In line 2, de Vere has shared a D and an R, already having been used. In line 3, Edward shares a W and takes its Ds from line 4. De Vere in line 3 takes a D from line 4. I've shown a down arrow. In line 4, Edward shares D and D and goes to line 3 for the W, and I've shown an up arrow. De Vere shares a V in line 3, and again I've shown an up arrow. Now you know about de Vere's ciphers. Did you notice that the W in Edward could have been taken from line 5? A word about my choices and my graphics. There are often choices of which letter to highlight. Other decipherers are likely to choose a different E or a different D, or in that case a different W. So the end result looks different but has the same words. I have developed a style of highlighting using transparent colours to manage the way I show a single letter is used more than once. You may see elsewhere how I show a letter used multiple times. De Vere's ciphers are intriguing. By creating these ciphers around 1573, he is showing us how loose his rules are. Was he trying to avoid censorship? Tudor authorities were on the lookout for anything written about Queen Elizabeth, and it is believed that anything disapproved of was burned. Some writers had their hands chopped off, or worse. Here I'm showing you more words in the same lines. De Vere often presents ciphers of the person he is addressing. Elizabeth uses a B from line 4, in line 1 of course, and in line 2 Elizabeth again uses a B from line 4. In line 3 Elizabeth uses a B and an S from line 4. In line 4 Elizabeth uses an I and an L from line 3. In line 5 Elizabeth fits entirely within line 5. In line 6 Elizabeth borrows an L from line 5. Tudor is in every line. Line 3 uses D and U from line 4 downwards. Tudor in line 5 takes D from line 4 upwards. De Vere uses repetition to show his intent. The complexity of what he has created is truly amazing. We can only guess how he managed to create meaningful poems and sonnets while incorporating groups of ciphers following different themes. My guess is that he had many cards with his letters printed on them and arranged them on a desktop, arranging and rearranging until he was satisfied. If he started with the letters he needed, then he knew that particular line contained his messages. If the poem needed more letters, then they had to be in neighbouring lines. Now you know more about De Vere's ciphers. Look out for the full explanation of the poem The Absent Lover. Thanks for watching.